Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. I want to talk about the season 3 finale of Doom Patrol. The episode was called Amends Patrol. And when it starts, we see the aftermath of the bus crash, and it's kind of bad. The bus is totaled. Larry's worm thing is all out of sorts. Jane is demoralized, as is Victor, but Rita is unrealistically optimistic that it's fine and they can still rescue Cliff. A fog rolls in and the Dada lady from the bar in the woods shows up to talk to Rita from the bar in the woods from a previous episode. She shows up and wants to talk to Rita, and Rita doesn't want to hear it, doesn't want to listen to her. But the lady then takes the rest of the team to the fog woods from that same previous episode, where Jane finds Hammerhead. And Larry is told by a few of Jane's other alters who are there that he needs to merge with the worm, but he declines to do that. He doesn't want to do that. Rouge wakes up on a gurney holding Cliff in a jar, Cliff being reduced now to just a brain in a jar, and is left there by the gorilla guy after he tells her she's lucky he didn't toss her off the nearby ledge. And she then accidentally drops Cliff, brain Cliff, over a ledge before, I guess, off camera, she ends up retrieving his brain and installs it as a power source in a giant robot that I guess we saw in an episode in a previous season that I guess she came across. It must have been in the ravine over the ledge. I couldn't really see it, but I guess that's what was there. And she then it starts to go after Brain. And she actually ends up crushing him with the robot, which of course crushes Cliff's body. Jane learns that many of the alters, by the way, all of whom are there in the weird woods, are sick. Back in the giant robot, Cliff tries to talk Rouge out of her plan to take the giant robot to the manor, and he accidentally takes control of the robot while he's doing this because of the words he uses, and it prompts her to flee out the window, or out the door rather, in the shape of a bird. Rita, meanwhile, finds the brain still operating Cliff's torso back at the Brotherhood's abode. So the body didn't get crushed completely. It got mangled and messed up, but the torso was intact, and he was able to, I guess, drag himself back to the Brotherhood's headquarters. Rouge turned back into her regular self and visited the old abandoned Dada room at the Ministry building. And she actually does the Dada dance before finding a door that wasn't there before, and behind the door is her time machine, which she tries to use to fix the past and to go back and not do all the things she's done. Jane wants the alters to go back where they belong, but they don't want to go, according to the therapist alter. So Jane insists that she knows what this alter wants, which is control, and that she has an idea on how she can have it. Vic temporarily takes on the worm instead of Larry when it can't get past Larry's bandages. So he absorbs the worm thing into himself. Cliff visits his daughter while still in the giant robot and apologizes for being a jerk, and she says that she just wants him to see a doctor because his Parkinson's is not good, and he says that he will. Rita agrees to help Brain build legs or a new Cliff body from the original blueprints in exchange for him helping her get Rouge, but she boils his brain by dumping hot water on it instead. I guess she says this to placate him, and then she takes a coffee pot of boiling water and dumps it right on his brain inside Cliff's head. The rest of the team returns home, and Jane passes out in order to visit the underground where the alters have returned so as to start dismantling the wall in the underground. And apparently Jane has given the therapist personality access to being the primary. Vic releases the worm spirit in Larry's room, where Larry removes some of his bandages safely and absorbs it. Rouge shows up there at the mansion, not remembering who she is or who anyone is, of course, because she went through the time travel thing, but she has a note that she reads to herself for a few minutes to remind herself, and it was kind of funny, actually. She's saying, oh yeah, you're the bossy one that used to have the cyber tech but doesn't anymore, and you're the dramatic one who stretches. It was very funny. Cliff also shows up, but can't control himself. He can't stop, and he's headed directly towards the town, which of course will wreck it. So a newly infused Larry flies off, and literally flies, back like he used to when he had the negative spirit, you know, into town to try to stop Cliff, along with Jane, who teleports to him, but accidentally hits the self-destruct. Rouge is apparently trying to redeem herself and wants to help, but Rita shows up and makes her recall what she did, which prompts her to tell Rita she's not even worth Rita killing her. Cliff approaches a Little League game, and Rita shows up as a giant to stop him, and she succeeds, and the patrol goes home, at which point Rita tells everyone they can do good if they put effort into it, and everyone agrees, including Rouge, who says she wants to change, prompting Cliff to vouch for her because they had a conversation where he sort of started to see that maybe she wasn't all bad, and this also causes Rita to accept her onto the team, I guess, begrudgingly or temporarily. The next thing that happens is the team gets a report on the news that a creature has shown up in the Suez Canal, and it's wreaking havoc, so they climb inside Cliff, and with him holding the time machine, they take off to Egypt 3 minutes into the future in order to deal with the creature. He holds it and just after it activates it and then dives towards the dirt, and he's holding it and taking everybody with him through time and space behind the machine, which I wasn't sure made sense, but that's okay. The show has a lot of weird stuff. So, and then it's the weird stuff that makes it good. Of course, the first 2 seasons were better. I've been saying this all along. I think they were better for a number of reasons. I think the story with the chief's daughter was very compelling, and I thought having the chief around made the show good. I seem to recall we saw a lot more of Jane's alters on the surface doing crazy things. So I think that made the show better. We didn't have that. We didn't get to see Rita doing very much with her powers. So I didn't think much of this season. I think that Michelle Gomez added a lot to it. She's great, and I like her a lot. And I like the Lady Rouge character, the way they portrayed it on the show. I like a redemption story anyway. So I like how they ended it. But like I said, I didn't care at all about the cyborg plot this season. I didn't find Larry's plot terribly compelling, and I don't understand how it was decided at the last minute that, oh, he needs to absorb the worm thing. Like, I don't even understand why he cared about the worm thing in the first place. I mean, not that he wouldn't care, but like, why was he so keen on it? How is it that Jane's alters realized he needed to absorb it, and then he just, after like briefly saying, "Nah, I don't think so," goes, "Yeah, right." Who even knew he could? Well, I guess he had originally, right? It was a parasite in his body, and it was going all around in his head and messing with him. So I guess we kind of knew that, but like, I don't know. I guess they were saying if he reabsorbed it or invited it back in and it went in with his permission, he'd be able to work with it the way he worked with the negative spirit. But like, there was no indication of that at all during the season that I saw until one of the alters says it to him. So I don't know. I didn't think that this season was that good. I'm hoping that next season we continue to see Madame Rouge and she continues to evolve and redeem herself. I'd like to see a return to form in that they bring back some of the stuff I talked about. So we'll have to see what happens. There also may be the spin-off show with the Dead Boys Detective Agency, which the daughter, the chief's daughter, might actually show up on, it seems. So that would be good. But I don't know. I thought the season was lackluster, and I actually hope that they get rid of Vic. He's terrible. Anyway, that's my review of the season 3 finale of Doom Patrol, and I suppose a quick sort of blurb about my feelings on the season in general, some of which I've been saying during the season. We'll have to see what next season brings. I'll be back with more content soon. Until then, I wish you peace and long life.